Welcome to Tech Tuesday. My name is Abbie Richie. I am the host of Tech Tuesday, the founder of Senior Savvy, and every Tuesday you can find me right here talking with people who are engaged in the age tech space as it relates to senior living. It's a great place to be, and I've got some wonderful guests. I'm going to invite them on, but first, let's run our intro. Alrighty, welcome back. We put together a show for you today. It's based on the Senior Living 100 conference. It's coming up this month, and we have some Senior Living Foresight partners who are attending the conference. And so we thought it would be great to have them on to talk about what's next in technology, what does the future bring, and what they're excited for. So one by one, I'm going to bring them on, introduce them, and then we're going to have a great roundtable discussion. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat and we will address those as well. Now, my first guest today is Charles Mann of Accreditation. Welcome to Tech Tuesday again, Charles.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So I want to ask you about Accreditation. I want to ask you where you're at right now. What do you hope to get out of the conference, and what's next?
Yeah. So again, thanks for having me on. We're looking forward to next week. Being around a lot of progressive operators, and so for Accreditation right now, we continue to introduce a kiosk-based entry management system for senior living, skilled nursing, and really any healthcare type property. And really the goal behind what we do is we help operators know who's in the building. And so we're uniquely positioned to capture all of the individuals that sign in and out. And that could be a family member, could be a self-employed private caregiver, could be a staffing agency worker, could be a float pool worker, could be a staff member, could be a resident, could be another sort of vendor that is providing a service to senior living. So when we think about what it looks like for the future of Accreditation, we are moving closer and closer to really identifying and helping operators get their arms around the agency part of their business. There's a lot of really solid workforce management solutions that measure and that help report on the workforce and the internal workforce side. Our feeling is that the missing link is on the external workforce labor. So we're utilizing our kiosk as a time and attendance platform specific to that, right? And so the ability for a community to utilize our dashboard to book potentially an agency provider should they need additional staff, and then utilize the kiosk as a way to track that, and then measure and look at their internal staffing versus their external staffing. And so we have a staffing solution, a scheduling solution that sort of attaches to our platform now. And so we're really entry management plus workforce scheduling. So we're bringing it all together because we touch those individuals every single day. So we're looking again to add safety and security to communities, but also help them understand the workforce that is coming and going without leaving any gaping holes within that. And I think we're the only solution out there that allows for the tracking of that external labor force. And so that's what we're excited to do. We're going to continue down the safety and security, but also in addition to that, really help operators get their arms around the full picture of their workforce to include, again, those external agencies.
It's so sophisticated and intelligent what Accreditation has been doing, and I visit a lot of communities, and to have that kiosk there, it's already collecting so much data and information that to continue to build on that core strength is awesome. So well done.
Thank
well
you.
done. Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. You're welcome. Now, I want to bring on our next guest. We have Jackson from Welcome Home. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, Jackson. I'm thrilled that you're here. Please introduce yourself and tell us what you do with Welcome Home.
Hi, Abbie. I'm excited to be here. Thank you. So I'm one of our account executives at Welcome Home. And for just a little bit of background, Welcome Home's a dedicated CRM for the senior living industry. And we've been helping a lot of people and really trying to reach as far as we can to make the sales teams and the marketing teams' lives a lot easier.
So for a lot of sales and marketing folks, Welcome Home is, the first line in which you're capturing that information for people who are potentially going to move into a community.
Yeah. So pretty much from inquiry all the way to move in, we want to be able to track what we're doing with those people, how we're engaging. And then with reporting, we want to make sure that, what are we doing that's effective? What could we be focusing on? Where can we coach? Where can we praise? And we have automated and dedicated calling, texting, emailing, all that. So any activity that we need to do with a prospect or with a prospect's family, with the referral partners that we've worked hard to facilitate relationships with, we can track all of that within Welcome Home. And we want to make sure we integrate with the other systems that teams use, and having that kind of connect easily is going to make salespeople's lives easier and, give a lot more accurate data for their leadership.
Right on. No leaky leads, right?
Exactly.
No leaky leads. And so what's next for Welcome Home?
So we do pretty consistent product releases. So we just released a lot of activity focused and reporting focused updates. In the very near future, we have a lot of exciting stuff coming out later this week and next week, right before Senior Living 100, which will be great. And then on a grander scale, we want to make sure that we continue to win with integrations. We want to make sure that whatever people choose to use, whatever works best for their communities and their portfolio, integrate seamlessly and doesn't cause headache for their teams or for their leadership. And we also, and this is the big plug, we just released our year-end review, which is aggregated data across all of our communities, showing insights in where are we seeing move-in trends, what kind of activities are we seeing have the most effectiveness. And I put a link in, I assume that'll get sent out, but that year-end review, right there, is available to download as well. And so we added an entire customer insights team. Their whole purpose is to help get important information in front of our customers so that they can win. And we can be the most effective CRM tool and the most insights for them and for their leadership.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to bring on my next guest. We've got Kristin from Achieve Accreditation. Welcome, Kristin. Hey, go ahead and unmute yourself, please. Oops, there you
Hi,
go.
Abbie.
Hey, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here today. Welcome to Tech Tuesday, and tell us what you do and what Achieve Accreditation, how that helps senior living.
Vice President of Achieve Accreditation, and we are actually celebrating 35 years as your #1 Joint Commission readiness expert. We are the how-to guide for the senior living communities when they are obtaining and maintaining their Joint Commission accreditation. So in a nutshell, what that means is we have our senior consultants that are rolling up their sleeves and providing that hands-on guidance with comprehensive accreditation readiness resources to not only prepare the communities for a successful survey outcome, but really to assist with implementing these processes into the daily culture of safety and quality within all the communities.
Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's move into now our roundtable discussion and go through a couple questions and talk about the Senior Living 100 conference. And so what I want to know from you is, what do you expect from this conference? Charles?
Yeah, you always have to choose me first, Abbie, don't you? So I get no benefit from everyone else's answers, but that's fine. I'll take this one. Yeah, I think it's been a while since I've been to a conference where I've had the opportunity to sit across from not only new prospects, but also existing customers. And so for us, it's a little different because we're going to be sitting with our current customers and then also net new prospects. And, it seems to me that the last few conferences that I've been to, and really I'm talking about ASHA, is there seems to be a sense of excitement throughout the industry. I think that occupancy is going up, which is sort of good for everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah.
And really, I'd love to understand, and one of the things that I'm going to seek out and really dig into is really from an operational perspective and really even from a marketing perspective, how are communities looking at the future, right? And the things that I'm hearing right now, and again, I've been on the operation side and I'm still to some degree there, is a known fact that most individuals, when asked, would like to spend the back end of their life at home, but that's not possible in many cases. And so, how can you create a model where a senior living community, as an example, assisted living, feels a lot more like home, right? And I think a lot of that has to do with the word assisted, right? When assisted living was invented, it was designed to be watchful oversight, right? It was very hands off, and in many cases, if you needed additional assistance, you would sort of transition to an environment that has more care. That being said, I sort of feel that with technology and with operation and sort of foresight, operators are starting to recognize different trends as to how they can create an environment that's more inviting. And so I think that's going to be the key moving forward. And I'm really excited about digging in with operators to understand that. So that's what I'm looking to get out of this. Not to mention talk about Accushield and what we're doing, but selfishly, I'd really like to hear from different people and different perspectives.
Well, let's hear from Kristin. Kristin, what do you hope to get out of the conference?
Kind of piggybacking off of Charles, the biggest thing is obviously you're going to be, seeing various peoples from different organizations. And I think the biggest thing is really starting to have open conversations with somebody new that you don't know and sharing your story, learning their story and where they're coming from, having that open conversation, building that trust and creating that relationship in hopes that a partnership.
Yeah, I remember I met Charles for the first time last month, right, at ASHA. Yeah. And you're a lot taller in person. It was great to see you.
Person, that's true. Yeah.
And so for you, Jackson, what's on your radar for the conference?
I think there are a couple of things, obviously, and everybody said this, getting to see people that you know, because it's nice to connect with people. It's nice to hear, what have you been hearing with your friends, with your connections, and then meeting new people, like Kristin said, that you can kind of grow that network of people that you know, people that you can pull from for resources. Frankly, we also just hired our enterprise account executive, Patrick Sharp. So he will be there, brand new. He will be starting from square one with meeting lots of new people, whether it's clients that we already work with or partners that that we've known before, meeting new people. And sort of to Charles's point, there is a very strong networking aspect of all of these conferences, but there is a lot of, and the primary focus is education, learning about what people who have been doing this for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years think, people that started last month or people that started last decade. And so I think that the educational aspect of Senior Living 100 can't be overstated. And then, of course, you're in a beautiful place with lots of people that you know or that you get to meet. And Patrick, it's going to be drinking from a fire hose for Patrick. I know.
Awesome. Well, the next question I want to ask you about is just, in the past when you've attended conferences, what have you found is the best approach? I know for me, I went to CES in January. That was my first time attending, and there was a lot I wanted to see in a short amount of time. So I'm very strategic with what I do at conferences, who I'm going to see, and I kind of, probably to my detriment, keep blinders on, right? So I can make sure to see everything. What have you found to be a good strategy for you when you attend conferences? I'm not going to call on you, Charles. How about you?
I mean, I'll go again if that's, yeah.
All right. Okay. Why
All
not?
right. Okay. I think the strategy, it's almost, I'm going to say this, but it's almost better asked what not to do at conferences. And I've seen some things over the years that I think presents the wrong message. And I think to some degree, kind of annoys the attendees that are on the operator side. And that is to really kind of work on the casual conversation before just diving into a data unload. And I think there's a time and a place to talk about this. I mean, clearly they see your badge, they know what you do probably, and to sort of tiptoe in that versus sort of a hard, slap the court, full court press. I think that sort of has the opposite effect. And I think it hurts the vendor population as well. Like, nobody wants to be sold. The last thing we want to do is for an operator to see us and try to figure out how to circumnavigate around this particular individual. And so I think a chilled, relaxed environment where you can have a real conversation, develop a relationship, and then organically sort of begin to talk about your product, I think is the advice I would give. So really not as much what to do. Everybody has a different philosophy as to how they garner information, how they glean information from operators. But I think just to really create a chilled and relaxed presentation is probably in all of our best interests.
That's a really good point. I do come into contact with a lot of technology companies, and they just lay the deck, their pitch deck, before I even get to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just create a relationship, right? Because people do business with people they trust and they know. And first, you've got to get to know someone before they're going to want to do business with you. So your tip to, just be more casual, less pushy, less salesy is well taken. So, we just had Suzette Graham from Patriot Angels join us. And so I want to bring Suzette on. Suzette, welcome to Tech Tuesday. I'm thrilled that you're here. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do with Patriot Angels?
So Abbie, thank you for having me. I am the CEO of Patriot Angels. We help veterans and widows get their benefits so they can afford to live in senior living. We are the largest private company. Just got the stats back. We did 16.4% of all the approvals across the nation last year. Very excited about that and happy to be here. I'm going to Senior Living 100. And so they asked would I like to join. I said, yes, I would love to join. Sorry, I'm a little late. My last meeting went long, but I'm excited to be here.
We all get it. And it's one of the beauties of one of the benefits of doing the interview virtually is, should be no traffic, right? So I was just asking the other folks here what they're hoping to get out of this year's conference.
I've never been, so I'm just excited to get to go. Mm-hmm. Of course, the speed dating is what we always look for. The more that, we get to talk to operators, the more that we get to help their veterans and widows get this benefit, right? Allowing us to assist more clients to be able to move in sooner, stay longer. And so we're just hoping to have, just more of those one-on-one conversations. Of course, meet up with Charles Mann from Accreditation. And getting to just have those conversations, we just keep growing and COVID actually made us grow. Mm-hmm. And so we're just looking for more opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any strategy that you employ when you go to conferences?
So I stop and talk.
Stop and talk. All right.
Stop and talk. Just stop and talk to people. That's, I always try to, set up pre-meetings before I go. But if, and then anybody that's there, I just make sure I have my business cards ready and my elevator pitch. And, I'm that vendor, though, that they should want to see because I don't cost them anything. I don't cost the operator anything. And I bring them money. So, they don't mind talking to me. So,
and let's now talk about future forecasting, I love to ask, what problem do you wish someone would innovate that's just going to help senior living so much? Is there a product or service someone should create? And I saw a whole lot of very innovative products at CES and talked about them not too long ago. But I want to know from you, what should be developed? What should be invented? Kristin.
I don't know if I have necessarily a specific product that I think needs to be invented right now. I will say, working for a small company, we obviously are all working harder, but it's also about working smarter too. And so using technology, 25 years ago, we were paper and pen, we were snail mailing everything. And especially with COVID, we have been able to, for Achieve Accreditation, been able to still provide a comprehensive product via Zoom, via Teams, and it's all because of technology. And so we're always, trying to stay 6 to 12 months ahead of the game to say, we're going to continue to work.
Got it. Yeah, you were cutting out just a little bit. One thing I was just thinking about was what Charles said a little while ago about the integrations. Right? Did we talk about that, Jackson? I think we talked about it. And yeah, I think those integrations, like the more that things can integrate, the better, right? Isn't it just so frustrating? You find a really good piece of technology and then it doesn't integrate with everything else. It's like, you got to start over from the very beginning. So let's see, who else has a product or a problem or service that you wish someone would create for senior living?
I'll go. I really wish that there was a solid CRM product designed for senior living and that will help operators and marketers get their arms around net new prospects, follow up, and really streamline that whole process. And I think we have someone on the call.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Okay, so there we go. All right.
Yeah.
Next one, as an operator, to manage veteran benefits is incredibly important, but operators generally don't have the time to do that, and to have someone assist a new prospect or a resident that's moving in that costs me nothing, that's a beautiful scenario. So I think that's one. And then from an accreditation perspective, Kristin and her team, just to be able to streamline that process and really create that seamless accreditation is also a big need. So just wanted to put that out there. So
Kristin, I want to ask you, because I don't know a lot about accreditation. How frequently do communities need to become accredited?
That's a great question. So initially, when we start working with the communities, it's a 6-month window that we work with them to prepare them to go through their survey. And then their survey is good for up to 36 months. So typically we see about every 3 years, again, give or take, it could be a little bit longer, a little bit less. And then every 3 years from there, they would go through their survey.
And what department or departments are in charge of that in senior living?
Within the communities, it's really everybody. It's a whole team effort to, really you're changing that culture of safety and quality. And that's not just one person that's doing it. It really is a team effort from, your executive directors to, to everybody that's there. So, even trying to include the residents there so they're aware of what your initiative is and what you're doing too. Great.
Thank you. Okay, Jackson, I know you've been dying to get on and target what Charles mentioned earlier. So let's talk about that dreamy CRM. What other products or services do you see in the future being able to integrate and add to WelcomeHome?
It's a good question. So we do currently integrate with quite a bit of different products, of different systems, and different aspects of the business. So if you have marketing automation systems, all those people before they really inquire before they're totally looking for a senior living option. We want to make sure we're connecting with those kinds of systems. We want to make sure when people come in, Accushield would be a nice integration. I'd say that. And I know Charles is going to be excited. And through the system, there are systems that can show you the floor plans of the different rooms that you have available, and they can show your prospects the availability. There are obviously EMRs and property management systems are a really big focus for clinical teams and finance teams. If we don't work with them, it's a huge pain. I think to kind of marry the previous question and this question, one thing, I was talking to a coworker who had just moved his mother into a senior living community, and he has family and friends that are sort of coordinating the care and the doctor's visits and things like that. Mm-hmm. I know there are lots of systems that are great that connect residents to their families, connect the communities to that group of influencers, more than just saying mom's happy or more than just saying mom's healthy. Mm-hmm. Really just maybe a slightly more industry specific group chat, just to say, who can do this, who's responsible for this, who knows the most about this question that the community is asking. I will admit, sort of to Kristin's point, I have, and to yours as well, I've seen and heard and met a lot of people that have really great systems. And sometimes I might just need a reminder that these things already exist, or that, we need to get those in the communities that my family or that his family was interacting with. I think one of the good things about these conferences is getting the service and the benefit that you provide and the way you help either the families or the people that are taking care of those families. That aspect of education is really important. The more, if you have a great thing that you do, the more people know about it, the more people you're able to help, bottom line. So
absolutely. That's one of the things that the conferences are great for, is the exposure, right? To the people you want to be in front of. Suzette, how about for you? Is there a problem or a service or a product that you see needs to be invented?
Well, I don't know about invented, but much to Charles and Jackson's conversation, definitely want to be embedded in the CRM systems. Okay. Because, when a client comes into a community to look, right, the sales and marketing or whoever's showing them around is taking their initial information. So wouldn't it be nice to have all the questions right there that need to be addressed? And much to Kristin, what you were saying about every 36 months, them going back and getting accredited, if that CRM system would have some kind of tickling system that says, hey, it's almost time, for everybody to jump on board with this. If there was one CRM system, WelcomeHome, that was putting this all together. And I know that we've been embedding in different CRM systems so that when they're in there, they just say, are you a veteran or widow? Yes. Would you like to speak to our third party? And then it just comes straight to us through an API. And so that is, I think that we're going to see more of that. I think that there's going to be a huge need for that, because right now you're relying on that sales and marketing person to do everything, from showing them around to signing them up to remember VA benefits. What else do they need? What kind of ADLs do they need? What, all of these things. Whereas if it was already populated in the system and directed to where it needs to go, it would sure save a lot of time. It would also allow all these people to not get, not fall through the cracks or be forgotten. I see the CRM system being a big thing,
Yeah, Jackson, if you have to go to start working on some of these items, I totally get it. Okay? No one would find fault with you. We know you got a lot of work to do here. It sounded like CRM. So
the good news for all of you that are actually attending Senior Living 100, because I mentioned this a minute ago. So our enterprise account executive and our VP of sales will be there. Find Teddy. Talk to Teddy. I hate to say I'm bottom of a totem pole, but I am always in for.
You're the foundation.
Exactly.
Right.
Biggest block.
Holds that totem pole up.
I do think, and that's really, and it's one of the nice things with communities, and it's one of the things with operators as well as vendors at these conferences. Most things would benefit from communicating with a CRM in some capacity, right? Whether it's an immediate, like the most important aspect of it, or just like Suzette said, like flagging a very simple aspect, right? are you a veteran? Are you related to a veteran? And then getting her or getting her team that information, and then letting them do what they do best. It's something we have an open API. We're always open to integrations, and we've met a lot of wonderful companies, a lot of wonderful products from a customer that was already using them and already knows how wonderful and helpful they are, and says, can you connect with these? And the nice thing with the senior living tech space is everybody's pretty willing to communicate and connect, which is great.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, I want to give our viewers an opportunity to connect with you, whether you're at the top or the bottom of the totem pole. So please, let's go ahead and let people know how they can get in touch with you. Kristin, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
They can find us at achieveaccreditation.com, and then they can like and follow us also on our LinkedIn page as well.
Okay, awesome. And Jackson, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So our website's welcomehomesoftware.com. There's a big request a demo button that goes straight to me. Other than that, I'm on LinkedIn, and I put in the probably the best thing for the people watching today, especially as they're looking to get more and more information, is I did put a link to that year in review as well. That's going to prompt you to talk to me. But the good news is you can get important and actionable information first, and then you can connect with me.
Yeah, thank you. And Charles, how can people connect with you?
Beeper. My beeper. I actually asked our sales team this morning who even knew what a beeper was, and they were saying that was really sad. Anyway, our website, accushield.com. You can get in touch with us there, and that's probably the easiest place.
Bringing the beeper back. Okay. And Suzette, what's the best way people can get in contact with you?
Our website is patriotangels.com. They can also call our 800 number, 844-757-3047. And my email is really easy. It's Suzette@patriotangels.com.
Love it. Great. Well, thank you guys so much for this roundtable discussion and for being here today. I'm completely jealous that I'm not going to be at the conference myself, but who knows? Maybe next year, right? And we'd love to see your pictures. Go ahead and post them on social media from the conference. That would be great. And for those of you who joined us in the chat, thank you. Thank you so much for participating. And for those of you who missed this, I'm going to go ahead and repost this tomorrow, and you can catch up then. Hey, you guys, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you back here next week. Goodbye.